jokes, yeah, you're insightful, but are you likable? You got jokes, you're the host, stand up. Are you likable?
Hello and welcome to Likable, a show where we discuss stand-up comedy from an entry-level perspective. I'm your host, David Stickle, and today I am joined by Mr. Duncan Harris.
Howdy.
Howdy, how are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
Well,
Yeah.
here.
We were discussing Candyland, and
Yes.
what's the name of this thing that we were just discussing, this memory thing?
I think anaphasia.
Anaphasia, not to be confused with the Russian princess Anastasia.
This is true.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. And in synopsis, this is like if you put something out of sight, out of mind, visually, how do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you try to picture something in your mind, like close your eyes and try to picture like a thing, an apple.
Okay.
Do you see an apple or is it like not an apple? I don't know how to say what it's not because like I see an apple, but some people don't.
They see the word apple or
is it an idea? I'm not sure. I'm kind of assuming because we talked and you also see the apple.
But do you also, here's maybe a follow-up
Seers of the
question.
Apple. That's my new indie punk band.
Yeah. Opening for Mumford & Sons.
Yes.
Do you visualize a picture of an apple, or is it like a drawing of an apple? Or
I just picture like
an apple.
an
emoji?
apple.
Yeah.
Although
but
I
it's
guess-
like a real apple, though.
I guess it's kind of like just like a red apple.
So it's a
classic red apple.
Specifically a red apple.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a green or a crab apple.
I was never a big crab apple fan.
I'm not a crab apple.
I was a Granny Smith guy for a long. Like when I was a kid, I used to hate red apples, like Granny Smiths.
Really?
Yeah, it's like red apples for nerds, man.
But your love is for red apples now. You have
well, now that's what I see because
red
that's what an apple
allegiance.
is, you
You've
know.
gone communism for the apples.
I don't know necessarily
Communist apples.
Maybe it's just that would be a hell of a turn. Although at this point, who knows?
Apples can make a heel move, dude.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. Apples. Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, the Mets have the red apple that comes out of the hat.
Oh, right,
at the home run. So maybe that's why I see a red apple.
Yeah, I think the big red apple is pretty iconic, and you know, that would be what you would call New York if it did do a complete political switch. I think the big red apple, which would be kind of funny, but no, we don't need.
No
to
one
start
calls it the
that
big
mark.
blue apple.
No, they don't. Yeah.
Although blue apple does sound suggestive.
Yeah, I don't like that colors are now.
Here, she gave him the old blue apple last night. What's that mean?
I got fucking blue apples all day, dude. It fucking sucks. I don't like that colors are now associated with political parties. That doesn't seem fair to me.
They kind of always have, though. You know?
I know, but it just kind of sucks because like I like the color red. You know, I like the color blue. I don't.
I do. Do you know what? Do you know what got really tough for me? So
Yeah.
I don't know how to, but so I'm 26. So I went to college in fall of 2017. So my senior year, that's when like everyone's wearing like what college they're committing to or going to. I went to St. John's University, whose colors are red and white.
Okay.
And I got a St. John's University hat, which was a red hat with white letters like lined up, said St. John's.
Like bright red?
Yeah, it looked, and like I didn't think twice because that's just the college I was going to.
What year is this?
20 well it was so I probably started wearing the thing in like late fall 2016, so right after the election. Genuinely not connecting it. Meanwhile, like it is a hot issue in school. So I'm wearing that and people would be like, oh, you fucking scumbag wearing that hat, and I go, it's St. John's University hat. They go, oh, okay. That's just a college. I go,
I'm proud of my education.
Yeah, I'm just in New York City, man. It's going to Queens. Like,
that's so funny.
and then I did, funnily enough, I rented a house while I was in school. My roommates and I, we rented a house that was on the street Donald Trump grew up in.
Oh, really?
It was across the street from his childhood house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it a mansion? I don't know
kind
how
of.
he grew up.
The house we rented had just been bought by this like 35-year-old financial investor. Whatever. A guy made a lot of money and then bought this house and wanted to rent to students. He was like, I want low maintenance tenants, and we were like, we're the guys.
Yeah.
So it was like funny. We're like, we had like joined an HOA, and then like, dude, that was a funny story because we had to lie to we were lying to the landlord about how many people were living in the house, and then we had to lie to the HOA. So there were so many levels. Like there were 7 of us living there. We told the landlord there were only going to be 6. Right. So that's like the starter.
So who's the illegitimate friend? What's that person's name? Whose name wasn't on the lease?
I'm trying to remember. We had a pair of brothers, so we just only put one of them on there.
Only one of the brothers.
Yeah. So I guess it was Ryan or Chris, but
were they twins?
No. One's a year older than me. One's my year.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we pull up on day 1, just waiting for him to give us the keys so we can start moving in. And admittedly, Ryan and Chris, the brothers, they're from Connecticut. They had a little bit of money. Mm-hmm. Chris had a top-down Mustang at the time. Oh. And so we're sitting in it. And the neighbor, who we took to calling French Colonel Mustard, or Colonel Sanders, excuse me, came up and he knocked on the window and he goes, hello. And we were like, oh, we're your new neighbors. You know, we're moving in here. And he goes, how many of you guys are living here? And we were like, just had a hell year with another previous landlord. We were like, oh, well, there's 6 of us living here. And he goes, that's illegal. Don't get comfortable. And he stormed off.
Huh. He was like waiting for it.
Yeah. And so then the landlord shows up. It's like the second time we've ever met him. And we were like, hey, neighbor already hates us. I don't know what to do. And so the neighbor called the building department in New York City, and they were going to come in and search the house to make sure it was only 3 people living there.
Oh my God.
Because there was an HOA regulation that said you couldn't have more than 3 unrelated people living together in the neighborhood.
What?
It's a lot of money in this town.
How did this guy let 6 people move in knowing that was a thing? Or he just like...
He didn't.
Oh, he just didn't check up.
He was just like, it's my house. I'm going to rent it out to who the fuck I want.
That's hilarious because it's also just like, he's just like, fuck it, whatever.
Well, and so...
But now you've got an answer.
Once we figured out the thing was, he just kind of thought for a second, he goes, fuck it, let him sue. And we were like, what? And he was like, trust me. He goes, listen, dude. He goes, if banks treat me poorly, I fucking bury him. He goes, by the time this guy's lawsuit gets through, you guys would be long gone anyway. So like, who cares? And he goes, here's what we're going to do. Because the HOA or the buildings department's going to come through and check it out. And we already moved all our stuff in. And he was like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to wait until like 1 a.m. And then I'm going to bring my van to the house. We're going to park it in the garage, or we're going to take the extra furniture out. And I'll bring you extra furniture. We're going to set it up to look like there's only 3 of you living there. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to decide which 3 of you look the most alike and dummy up a lease.
That's awesome.
It'll be the same lease that we have with the 6 of you. There's 7 of us. With the 6 of you. But... if anyone asks, we can produce a 3-person lease. Uh-huh. And so they come through, search the house. They deem there's only 3 people living there. And then we moved all of our shit back another night, like in the middle of the night, because we had a connected garage. And so at the end of the day, at the end of the year, it ended up being that the HOA in New York City believed there were 3 people living there. The landlord believed there were 6. And in fact, there were 7. And at times, almost 8 of us living in that house. A couple girlfriends on extended stays.
Girlfriends, of course. They... really must have hated you in the neighborhood. Was like the French guy. So I picture this being like a Disney movie, right? Where it's like almost like Cheaper by the Dozen, but with just like maybe like a frat house kind of like setup.
I mean, it looked that nice because part of the HOA was they had like people come and do the lawns for us. So like
that's hilarious.
We were a bunch of degenerate college frat kids living in this super nice house. Yeah. You're like, oh, hey, all right, he's doing the lawn, he's trimming the hedges.
Were your like roommates just like throwing tins in the yard and shit like that, or did they actually?
Well, we wouldn't throw stuff in the yard because you get fined for that.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're gonna be careful. Is like you do have to like not, you couldn't party outside too much, but yeah, the inside of the house was sometimes a little rough looking. Yeah, despite how nice it was. I remember one time we came home, because there were maybe 5 of us that were in a frat, and then 2 or 3 guys that weren't. And we came home, and the guys that weren't, we went to a frat party, and the guys that weren't had a bunch of friends over, and we came home and opened the door, and the house was just filled with smoke, with pot smoke.
Yeah.
They boxed the house. Yeah, they hot housed. And we were like, oh my God. Like next door, you've got like just retired investment bankers.
Yeah.
Just be like, what the fuck are they doing over there?
They're calling every lawyer that they know. That's so funny.
It's crazy.
That's wild. That's so funny. And you did that for 4 years? You lived in that
It was just junior year.
Just junior year. Okay. Yeah. And then you got kicked out for the
Well, COVID hit, and then a couple of guys dropped out, and so we didn't have enough to keep the lease. But the other thing the landlord said, he goes, after the building inspectors leave, he goes, if anyone knocks on the door, even if they have a warrant, you call me first. And we were like, all right, we can do that.
What a guy, dude.
Yeah. Shout out Sorelli. He was the boy.
Sorelli. That's how you can be 35, my age, and buy a building in New York.
Dude.
That's wild.
Dude, I actually found out that the fraternity just got the house back like a year ago. So the boys are down there now.
Yeah. They're boxing the house again. We will ride. I bet you the French guy is probably not there. He probably bought a house somewhere up here.
Well, that became the thing is he had other houses, so he wasn't there most of the time. So we're like, all right,
okay.
why are you even mad?
Yeah. That's not your fucking problem, dude. Yeah, that's awesome. So are you born and raised Albany?
No, actually, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah, I was born there, and then I moved out in 2006.
Okay.
So when I was about 7.
Okay, when you're 7, and then to Albany?
Yeah, to just outside of Albany.
Okay.
Where I'm living now.
Big Ohio guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Ohio guy.
Hell yeah.
15 minutes away from where the Cleveland, what are they now? The Guardians.
Likable listeners. This. Oh my god, I don't know where that was going. If I'm being honest with you, guys, what are we even doing? It's the new year. I'm doing this. This is very last minute. I'm rushed. I'm so rushed. I found out a different episode. The video was not being recorded, so it's just audio for that one coming up next week. Just audio. Just a heads up. There's no video missing. I'm going to have to do a video announcing the video not being available. Anyways, this is the Interruptible. Sorry about that. We're going to move on. On 110, I'm going to be at Magnani Winery with Kevin Ludlow. Hell yeah, he's my special little guy. On 116, just got added to this. I'm going to be on the Ugly Flamingos show. Sean Barry's going to be putting me on that one. That's a fucking awesome time. That's going to be at the QED in Queens, New York. Very excited to go down to Queens. I go to Brooklyn too much, so it's nice to go from Kings County to the Queens. It's going to be awesome. On 117, we're at the Krog. That's going to be a local show. Very excited for that. So we're going to go from Highland to Queens to Rhinebeck. What a life we're living here. The following week on 124, we're going to be at the Sloop with Joke Bomb. We've got a great lineup for you there. That's very exciting. I'm super excited for that one. And on 130, we got Punchlines and Moonshine. That's going to be up near Lake George. And I believe Fort Anne is the name of the town. Fort Anne. I don't know her, but she seems great. You know, maybe it's a pillow fort. You know, that would be cool. Pillow forts are fun. And if anybody tells you not to make a pillow fort, they're a Nazi. And I believe that. Okay, then it's a dramatic pause. It says dramatic pause in my notes. And on what I'm kidding. I don't write this ahead of time. That'd be really, really dumb. And on 131, we're going to finish up January, and we're going to be in freaking New York City at the Top Secret Comedy Club. There is a London location. Don't go to that. I'm in the New York City location. I'll be working with the great Sergei Podnitsky again. If you know, then you know, my guy. But I'm so excited to work with him again. Very funny last time. I was very pleased to work with him last time. He was, again, super funny. That's a great show. Don't want to miss that. So if you can make it out to a show, that's awesome. I'm going to ask the fans of this podcast that listen to this to please give this page, the Instagram page, a follow. That way I can get those numbers up. You know what I mean? Also, if you've got any questions, you can email the studio. They send those to me. I've been getting some fun ones. People have been asking me to come on the podcast that are like not listening to the podcast clearly. it's so stupid, but please, other people can email. That would be cool. You can email me directly. You can DM me. That would be cool. Any questions, I can cover them. I'll turn this Interruptible into a video format, and I will answer the questions. So please send those in. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of the show.
Used to play or still play.
All right, so is your fandom there? Are you a sports guy?
You know, I always pull for the Guardians. They've always got a spot in my heart, you know. Mm-hmm. But I've been a Mets fan for the last 18 years.
Okay.
And it's ruining my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it have been better to be a Guardians fan at this point?
At this point, yeah, because they've actually won a World Series in the last decade. So, you know, that felt good to see that. But it also, like the next year, my Mets lost the World Series in pretty fantastic fashion. And we've been destroying our team the last month. So.
I love to hear it.
Yeah,
I love
we just let everybody go. Let everybody go.
Everybody's out. Yeah. This is subtly becoming a sports podcast.
Yeah.
The last like 3 episodes, I've had sports people on. So we'll stay away from the sports because I don't know how my viewers like it, if I'm being honest with you.
I keep going about... I'll keep going. So.
Yeah. Believe me, I know dudes that'll just rant about sports. How long ago did you start comedy?
So I've been doing it in earnest 4.5 years.
Okay.
When you
say in earnest, what do you mean?
First time I ever did it, I was 14.
Okay.
And so I like did it maybe 10 times in like high school and college, but not enough to like really like say you do it, or you know, once every 3-5 months isn't really enough to like learn anything and develop anything. So it's like, all right, I played around with it, but then like right after I came home from college, 2021 is when I was like, all right, every day.
So at 14, what was it, like an open mic?
Yeah, it was actually the Lark Tavern open mic. It was still a thing since back then. Yeah, that thing's been around forever.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Who was the host back then?
At the very first one.
Oh, better question. Do you know anybody that was there that time that still does comedy now?
Yes.
Okay. Who?
Well, let me think. Well, the guy that hosted Mo, I hear he still kicks around every now and again, producing a couple shows every now and here and there. Cool. And there's people that know him. And then I want to say every now and again he still comes around. Tommy McGuire Jr.
I don't know.
He's a local Albany guy. Okay. He kind of took a step back after having kids, but
okay, that happens.
But he hosted the very second time I was there, like 3 months after that. Mm-hmm. And I did 1.5 minutes to 4 people, got absolute silence. It was like, walked off stage. And I remember him being like, it happens to everybody.
What does a 14-year-old do a set about?
Mostly my name.
Okay.
The fact that my name is Duncan, and like at the time it had just been announced that Albany was opening its like 250th Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
So it was just the whole like, you know, my name's Duncan, not Dunkin' Donuts. Mm-hmm. And riffing on that. Oddly enough, I'm working on a bit right now about my name is Duncan.
You're like, you know what? I have a voice now. Yeah. I can, honestly, I do that with
I do that constantly. I spent like almost this whole year just going, let me find everything I've ever written and see if I'm good enough now to make it work.
Yeah, I always backtrack. I have like a really long like notes section. And my
I just have one massive note page that goes for years.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's nice to have it.
Not to mention notebooks piled up at home with just meaningless writing.
Yeah, sometimes it's really bad. I just got into listing stuff, which is now consuming pages upon pages. Makes me feel good about like, oh man, I'm writing so much.
Listing?
Yeah, like just like if I have 2 conflicting topics or like something like that, I'll just list on each side the differences or the similarities, and then just see if I can do a crossover joke between the two.
Okay.
So like my example of this is like I have my grandmother, so I list everything about the grandmother, and then she's recently gotten really into Joe Rogan. So then I list everything I think of when I think of Joe Rogan. So now I'm like, most people's grandmothers want to bake you cookies when you feel sick. Mine wants me to take ayahuasca, you know, and there's our bridge. You know? So,
I see that. Yeah. I go a little bit differently about it where I'll tease the idea and I kind of like, I think Jay McBride calls it like clouding or bubbling, where you kind of make the idea the center and you just stem off in all different directions. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I'm trying to like expand, and then I look at it as like, you know, those .io games where you're like a circle and you have to like consume other circles.
Okay.
You used to play, it's like, there
was a fish game that was like that too.
Yeah,
right?
There's like paper.io or like, the one I'm talking about is Agario. So it's like agar.io.
Okay.
And you're a circle, you can put a name on it. So like I remember in high school, you'd see like Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And then you just like bump in other circles. And if you're the bigger circle, you can like consume them and then you get bigger. Mm-hmm. And it's just a stupid like computer game. But in my head, I think of my circle as like when it's starting a bit, you've got just that little circle. And then you're trying to move it around. Mm-hmm. Every little part of it, take up as much as you can, and eventually you're like, all right, maybe if I keep it over here, that's the best spot for it. But what if I push it way the hell over here, and then, you know, trying to take aspects from all of it. it's a little more chaotic, I think, than listing.
Yeah.
That's how my head works.
So like when I started writing, it was very much like I would just get a premise, and then I would just get like kind of hammered and just like write like silly things that I thought of when I was doing it. And then it turned into like, if I had like a good like 5, I would just repeat it out loud and just see if in the awkwardness of me just standing there, if I came up with anything. So then that was my writing process. And now lately I'm trying to do this listing thing just to get different angles in. You know, and I'm doing it with old material too. So it's like, it's interesting because I'm just like, oh, I've been doing this bit for a very long time. I never thought of this other way, you know, but it's just, it's still like, what's cool about it is that there's like no way to like do it that's the right way, you know?
Well, what's funny too is that we're also very different stylistically in terms of our comedy.
I
feel like, you know, I'm a storyteller and you're very much more jokes.
Well, I do storytelling too. Yeah. I do a lot of,
But you've also got the voices and like...
I've kind of broken it down into like, my stories now are like 2 minutes long, where it used to be a lot like more of a whole set. So
it's funny. I try to whittle my stories down to make it so that it's like my main, if I've got a new story, the first time I'm going to do it, I'm going to go up and do it, and it's going to suck. It's going to bomb, but I'm just trying to figure out what are the beats. Like, is the thing that I think is the funniest about it getting something? And then you go, great, there's that. And what I'm looking for is like 2 other beats, and then you got 3 beats, and then you just try to have setup, punch, setup, punch, setup, punch. And then it's like a story, but it's actually just a couple jokes in a row.
Yeah.
And then what I found out that I've been doing, like, especially like this year, I did a lot more longer sets this year, so I was able to really play around with like ordering stuff.
Yeah.
And I discovered when I throw whatever plan I had out the window and just go, I have the bits that I know is going to fill the time, but maybe I'll get to them differently.
Yeah.
Or I'll just figure out like, I don't know, I want to start with this and I'll see if I can remember the order or whatever. And I've noticed that like, all of a sudden if I stack things together that I used to not, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this bit has nothing to do with this joke, but all of a sudden now they're going together and it hits way bigger.
Oh, that's
so I've been really playing with that, or like reordering things. I screwed up. I have a 6-minute chunk on being gluten-free at church.
Okay.
And I screwed it up at a show in June. That made it better. Because it made it like, it used to just be very linear, and then I screwed it up and I had to be like, oh, wait, hold on. There's this other thing. And then it made it a joke where I like go tangent and then come back and then tangent and come back. Only got there because I was like really changing the order of how I did it.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I'll do, so I also do a storytelling format. It's interesting that you but I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, oh yeah, every time I do Albany, I do a different style of comedy, which is funny. I'll talk about that in a minute. But like, when I have a story, I'll just tell the story, and then I'll just add tags in every, like I'll break a story into every line, and then I'm just like, all right, I need this exact line to be a punchline, I need this line to be a punchline, and then I just kind of do it like that. But what's funny about that is like when I go to Albany, I'm just realizing this as you're saying this, so I'm like a little thrown off. When I do like the Comedy Works or anything like that, I'm trying standalone jokes out, which makes sense of why you think I'm just like a joke guy. Because like I'm just like, all right, I have like 3 different sets I'm working on, and then I'm like a standalone joke for this, standalone joke, but does it work on its own? You know? So then I try to do that, which is funny. I never realized that perception wise that was there. So you've been doing a lot more longer sets lately. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. But, when I can get them.
Yeah. I mean, that's the trick. I mean, it's like crazy. What's like the longest set you've done?
Half an hour this year.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. Hour. That's crazy.
It's fun.
What's like the average set length that you do?
These days, doing a lot of like 15-minute sets.
Okay, that's awesome, dude.
So like,
that's awesome. That's about where I'm at right now. Is 15. Yeah.
10 to 15. I really want to do more 20s. I'm getting those every now and again.
Yeah.
When I can stretch or whatever. Like, I've been getting a lot of work at the Comedy Works lately, but it's been very last minute, which has been fun. That like, that's been actually a lot of my shows in the last 6 months have been like, I've been getting a lot of stuff, but it's been like, hey man, in like 2 days, can you come up and do a thing? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I think Patrick said that was like kind of the case too, where they just kind of like hit up last minute. Okay. That's sick, dude. Cause I mean, that's a real club. That's, a real crowd. Like that's,
Because there I can kind of stretch sometimes depending on the night. You can go, all right, well, it's 15-ish.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. So
that's cool, dude. Do you so that's been the bulk of your is it like showcases? Is it like featuring? Is it like where are you finding yourself?
For the most part, right now I've been hosting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I host a lot of everything. I host an open mic every Monday.
I host all the time too.
Yeah. I mean, there have been times where I've been like, damn, I'm hosting like most of the open mics in this 2-week span. I'm like, I need to stop.
Yeah.
You know? And then you just go through periods where you're like, I don't want to host anything.
Yeah.
I just want to go up and do a set.
And then sit down.
But there's a great utility in that. Not only just like learning how to be a good host, which is a skill on its own, and learning how to kind of like build and break a room and keep that going, but like learning how to get funny on a cold room.
Yes, 100%.
Really like makes it so that when you're not the opener and you get the feature spot, or you're like the third guy, or you're doing a bar show and you're the fourth guy in, and the crowd's perfectly warmed up, then you can go in firing on all cylinders.
100%.
And just crush.
Yeah, I host at Laugh It Up often, and one of the things that I've been doing for a long time as a host is like I'll just do a joke about this topic or about this topic, and basically if you're paying attention in the back of the room, you have an idea of whether they like dirty or clean, and you know how they feel about some crowd work versus, you know, like, so it's just like I'm kind of just like touching bases on a bunch of general comedy to see what the other comedians, so they can learn and figure out what they want to do. What's nice is that like when I'm not the host and I'm like either, you know, the first up or like the middle or whatever, because I don't headline that often, is to like just like listen, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm actually going to do this joke instead, you know, like it's in you get all of that information and you feel like you're more apt to just like kill when you get up there.
Oh yeah.
But hosting is like an amazing tool to have in the belt. Yeah.
Yes. It's been fun, especially because like I've probably hosted between open mics and shows, I don't know, hundreds at this point, right? And so I'm at a point now where it's like, yeah, for the longest time you're like, all right, at first when you're hosting, you're like, I just want to warm them up to jokes. I don't want to upset them. I don't want to step on any other comics' bits. So like, let me just like set the room up nice, and like that's all I want to do. And then you go better, and then you're like, yeah, let me try to like figure out what are we doing here. Maybe make sure I'm not going too hard. Or like if you've got, I know for sure if I've got like comics that are going to go a little hard right after me, I'm going to make sure I bring in some chippier stuff, because I'm not the most chippy guy. But I've got those bits, and so I'm like, okay, let me bring some of those out, so at least I'm warming them up for what I know is coming.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And then now I'm at a point where it's like, all right, I'm pretty comfortable going up in front of 10 people who 2 seconds ago were like, it's fucking cold in here, man. There's no heat on. Like, Rich Williams, I've been working with him a lot lately at Comedy Works, and he has this over where he goes, hey, if we get 2 more people, they'll turn the heat on. You know?
That's funny.
and I think it's honestly just that like there's been a problem with the heat and they're getting it fixed or whatever. I'm not sure, but like it's funny that like, you know, if you have to walk up there in front of people who are just 2 seconds ago like, it's wow, we're gonna stay.
Yeah.
There's not enough people to leave, you know. And you go up there and you go, all right, well, I'm comfortable enough that I think I'm gonna make them laugh. Now let me try something that is a risk and see if I can pull that off in the cold room.
Yeah.
And then when it does, boom, we're off to the races.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been working out.
Yeah. So far,
Yeah,
have you had a situation where it's not landed?
Just bits.
Okay.
Not the whole set.
Okay.
But I've got up there, and then I've dropped a bit, and then I just, you know, you kind of go, well, there's 2 more minutes in this. I could dump out, or I could just sit in it and then see if I can come out of it, you know? And that's been fun. Making that decision lately to be like, let's not save this.
Yeah.
Let's just sit in it and wait for the next idea. Try to come out of nothing.
That's like a really like a mature way to think while you're up there, and I think a lot of people don't realize how much active thinking comics are doing while they're performing. You know, so that's like an interesting thing. Like, do you when you, I can hear people out there. That's so funny. When you're like up there and you're feeling them out and you're just like kind of like sitting in there, like I know that like I start to like sweat, or I'll like do like a stupid like little nervous laugh when I have a joke that I'm like laugh. You know? Do you feel like you have a tick or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll say. Well, the first is as a bit is starting to die, the amount of times I say, you know what I mean? And like lean into it. Like I'm literally trying to force it. You know? I was just talking to some comics last night about like when you come off stage and your set was fine. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like great, but it was fine. Like you got through it, you got laughs, you got through it, but you really had to work for it.
Yeah.
And it could be the same set you did the night before, same jokes, same words, but you just really had to work for it, you know? And it's like trying to quantify what that is about like that. So it's like when I'm starting to really work for it, you know what I mean, comes out. And then it's just a lot of like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I just start looking down because it's like I don't want to look at the audience and go, I don't know what I'm saying. I got nothing. I'm just like spinning through the Rolodex going, bit. Give me something quick. Give me something quick. Give me something quick.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think you know what I mean. It'll probably be my biggest like,
Yeah, once I start sweating, and what I do now is like I'll stare off into the ceiling trying to think of something else. So I'm like, please God, like give me something that makes them like me. Because sometimes it really is. It's like I was on a show that I completely flopped on like 3 weeks ago maybe at this point, and I went up there. The host did a good job of setting up the room. But I should have identified that these were like quick laughers. Okay, they're like, haha. Yeah, you know, and it was just like a quick.
That's the most annoying kind of a set.
It's either that or like when people just smile at you, like they're having a good time. You
when
can't say
they're locked in and listening.
Yeah.
And they're not upset. They haven't been entertained yet, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, I can't emote laughter out of you, but I know you're happy to be here. You know, so I went up there and
you know what that is? That's shit. This really is all on me, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, I got no way to put this on you.
I could say that you guys fucking suck if you're chatting at the bar. You know, if you're not paying attention and whatnot. But the fact that I'm sitting
you're
here
nodding,
talking to you,
you're smiling, you're engaged. It's
waiting
all me.
Yeah. They're just waiting for something funny. But that's brutal, you know. So I had like a good 12 minutes like that the other night, and then the comedian that was actually a headliner went up, and he did about 5 minutes, and then at about the 3-minute mark, he was just like, you guys are like, haha, done, haha. Like he called them out on it, and he's just like, he's like, it's not like this. He goes, I'm supposed to build momentum here, and and then somebody was like, because he was being funny about it, he wasn't being a dick, and somebody was laughing but like holding in their thing, and he goes, no, let that out, and he just did that. So by like 5 minutes, he had them completely retrained, and they were a completely different audience. So where I was like, man, I wish I could do another 5.
Yeah.
It was like they're so much better now. Yeah.
That's something I'd like to get better is engaging directly with the audience. I'm not a big crowd work guy. I've been trying to do more of it.
It's painful.
I'll do a lot of like fake crowd work, I call it, where I'll ask a very leading question, get a quick answer, and go, yeah, because and then dump right into the bit that I wanted to do.
Exactly.
So they feel like they've been engaged with, but I didn't really give them the space of the air to do anything. But like, I was on a show up in, when was this? This must have been 2 or 3 months ago. This must have been over the summer, but it was up in Mineville, New York, up there.
Okay, what's that by?
Craig Nestler produces it. Mineville, New York is not really by anything.
Okay.
It's like an intersection with a tavern, and then the whole town was there.
Okay.
Right?
Which sometimes very fun crowd.
It was a very interesting room, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like the second show that they had done up there, and after the first one, all the comics had told me like, hey, most of the room told us that was the first comedy show they'd ever seen.
Wow.
Like, they'd never been to a comedy show. Like, they didn't know how it worked. Yeah, they didn't know how it worked. So they talked the whole time. And then when I went there, and so they were just like, it's just, they're all just talking at the bar, whatever. They don't know what comedy is. So I'm just thinking like, all right, they're going to be talking and not really paying attention. And then we get there, and they are kind of paying attention. But they started doing this thing where when you tell a joke, you'd hit your punchline, and then they'd go talk about it.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And then they'd come back to you.
Yeah.
And so Ryan Shipley, you know Ryan?
Yeah.
So Ryan goes up there, and he's very dark comedian, but also very word economic, right? Yeah. Guy's very like picks his words carefully. So you do a joke, hit the punchline, and they go, ooh, or like half chuckle, as they do, and then they'd all chat about it. And then they'd come back, and he'd be like, oh, yeah, he just started talking about what they were doing. He's like, oh, you guys got to talk about it. Yeah. And then he started to tell them, like, no, I'm going to tell a joke, and then you guys laugh, and then I'm going to do another one. So, like, don't talk.
Yeah.
And for a little while there, it got this really fun thing where he would tell a joke, they would either laugh or groan, and then they'd talk. And he'd, oh yeah, you guys got to talk about it. Okay, are you guys back? But then they'd all come right back, and he could do another one.
Yeah.
And the rest of us were just like fighting like hell, trying to like just call people out and trying to start something a little bit to get people engaged. He just went there and he just had them like fully in on it by letting them do what they were doing.
Interesting.
It was a sort of like meeting of the middle.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have the ability to do that. You know?
I don't know that I could do that either.
Yeah,
but I wish I could.
No confidence, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's why I like my bits.
Yeah. He's Ryan's a really good comedian. You're exactly right with the word economy and all that kind of stuff. You know, that style of humor, you have to really believe. I'm not saying like believe in what you say, but you have to just like believe that it's funny.
Yes.
The way you're saying it.
You have to sell it.
Yeah, you have to sell it.
Full commitment.
Yeah, and it is funny to see him break sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, because when he chuckles because he knows it's really dark, like that's fucking funny.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's all part of it, and like, yeah, he's a funny dude.
Oh, yeah, I watched him win a room back over by breaking. We were at it was a Clash of Comics a couple years ago at Funny Bone, and he hits his first one, and they kind of liked it. You know, it was like fine, and then he hits his second one, and that got a big groan, and it like a huge but one of those delayed where it was like people went ooh, and then like later some laughs came because he knows how to like sit in the silence, right? And then he went, guys, it's gonna get a lot worse. Buckle in. That got a big laugh, and then he did another one which got a groan but less of a groan, and then by the next one they were laughing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it became this real fun back and forth of like. He's like, okay, you guys like that? Too far for you guys. And it's really fun watching him have that back and forth when he gets it.
Yeah, a groan is interesting because sitting in it is so important because it is really like a standoff at a certain point where it's like, if you wait long enough, like the guy that does want to laugh will laugh, and then everybody will know. Like, oh yeah, we're back at a comedy show. Yeah, we're here. Yeah, that just it takes so much time to get patience with. I have
a couple of jokes where I'll like imply something, and then like obviously the punchline's coming, but I love. I went through a period. I wrote like a ton of these, and I was like, I can't all be this of jokes where you don't quite finish it. You let the audience finish it in their head.
Yeah.
So you cut yourself off. And like, it's so much fun to do that because like you cut yourself off and you know what you're thinking and they know what you're thinking. And when they're on that same page, they're like, oh, and they feel like they've like got one on you, you know? And those are really fun. But I had for a little while there, like last year, I had a run on like 6 of them. And I was like, all right.
This is a bit much.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. Someone was like, is that like a comic pulled me aside and goes, is that like becoming your thing? And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Diversify your writing, bud.
Yeah. That's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he's got a shtick. Like, you know, I'm not trying to be that guy.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. So, Comedy Works, you've been doing that, and you've been hosting a lot of different things. The are you producing shows too? You putting together shows?
Every now and again, I produce a show with Mike McLaughlin up at Lark Tavern. We are hopefully doing one in the new year.
Okay,
things are a little weird at the moment. We took a little bit of a hiatus, and so we're just trying to get him back into it.
There seems to be, so this is outsider looking in Albany scene. There seems to be a lot happening in a very small radius. Like, how do you guys, so I know there's like a group chat of like producers, I think, up there.
Yeah,
sort of. This is news to you, I'm sorry.
No, I'm in it.
Okay, cool, cool. But like that does require a bit of community, because like down here, we're all kind of spaced out, right? And like, you know, in this area, it's like my little Rhinebeck setup, and then there's Kingston, which is just across the river. And we don't truly overlap at all, but we're the closest to each other. But like everything that happens like down like near Beacon and Newburgh and all that kind of stuff, some of that has been overlapping. Like there was a show we're putting on in like Middletown, New York, and there was like 3 other shows happening in the same little city at the same time, at the same night. And like thankfully ours had great attendance, but like I'm like curious what it's like to kind of be like in the same city trying to hit like the same market essentially. Like
so that's kind of the impetus behind why that group chat formed.
Okay.
Was originally just like, hey, we're starting to put more shows together. And I mean, even way back in the day before it was created, it was like, because I think this is like the second iteration of chat. I don't know, but it was things started happening where it was like there's 2 shows on one night, and they could potentially be like across the street from each other or something. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, okay, especially 3 or 4 years ago, the market up there was small enough that you're like, okay, we're pulling from the same pot here.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure we're not double booking things and like spread things out so they're not on the same week, and try to make sure so that everyone can share the love there.
Yeah.
These days, it is still a bit of like making sure we're not double booking things, but it's also we kind of work together to try to like promote together.
Okay.
To an extent. Cool. So that chat, Albany Comedy as kind of a collective are kind of associated with Metroland, so they help us out. They'll put it's like a free publication upstate.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And so that goes out. It's like all over Troy, all over the capital area. It's like a free little newspaper that's just like local events and stuff. And so we're in there and we promote some of their stuff. And so like some of that has been beneficial. And so that's been like the last couple of years has really been people coming together up there in Albany to try to like further it.
Okay.
Build it out a little bit more, make it more of a thing. And so I think the thing that we've succeeded the most in Albany is letting Albany know that we're there.
Yeah.
Because there are, as you said, there's a ton of shows. I mean, and we're spread out, but like we've got Mike's and shows in Troy. We've got a ton going on in Albany. There's stuff going on in Latham. Some of our guys have spread out, and we've got guys that produce shows. We're kind of loosely connected with some Amsterdam guys, and and obviously we're all friends with a bunch of you guys down here. And so like we're trying to spread out, but also get people from these surrounding scenes to come up with us as well, so that we can have not the same. There's about 40 of us or so, and so if you have 10 shows a month, that's more or less going to be the same people rotating through all those shows. So the more we can.
That seems like the tricky part because like I'm running into this issue now. Like I produce some months I produce 5 different shows, and like it's tough because like there's a lot of people that I'm meeting through. We started the Don't Tell for the Hudson Valley, so there's like a lot of people I'm meeting through that, and then there's just like the local comedians, and then there's just other people that I've met through the city that I'm trying to get up here, and like there's all this kind of because I want to get exposure down there, right? So it's like all of this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, man, like it's tough, like sometimes I feel like I got to produce more shows, but that is like the bane of my existence right now. So I'm just like, man, like that is tough. So
that was like a thing that we ran into. Was we all of a sudden like. We all were like, let's all produce more shows and like build the scene out, and we'll all get more stage time. It'll help all of us and all this stuff like that. And then we were producing too many shows.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to make the comparison to you because I don't know, the very different markets. But we were having like sometimes we'd have like 3 or 4 shows at Lark Tavern in a week.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
the same
things like that
venue
where
is tough. Yeah.
So it was that, or it would be like just like so many shows that it got oversaturated. So then everyone kind of dialed back a little bit, and so like me and Mike, we try to space out when we put ours. We do it every like 6 to 8 weeks to a couple months because we don't want to have one every month to do because there's a lot of regular monthly shows in town.
Yeah,
and we don't want to just add to that. We want to make sure that like when we do ours, it's something a little bit different. That's not to say that it's bad that we have monthly shows. I love monthly shows. I get on some of those stuff sometimes, but it's also trying to like understand the market you're in and not overdo it.
100%. Yeah. What? So like I do a monthly here in Rhinebeck, but I mean it's like we get a lot of repeat people. It's like a cool like little, and it's a no cover show, so it's like a cool little night out for everybody, which is cool. What's interesting is that like the Don't Tell that I'm finding is like that's a much younger demographic. So like and then like. We just had a show at Sloop, right? We did a Don't Tell show at Sloop. The average person there was like mid 30s or like trending, towards 40. When I do a show at Sloop without the Don't Tell, average age is like 50, and I'm like, okay, so we're hitting a different market here in the same venue. So it's like interesting that like the newsletter works for different things, that made me wonder if I should have done a second show at Sloop this month, but
I mean,
now I'm too tired.
Look, the other thing though is like no matter how many shows you're producing, if they're doing well, don't stop.
100%.
Like that's the other thing is like we can say like, don't oversaturate, but if you're like, hey man, I'm doing this many, and they're all fucking great.
Yeah, I'm not trying to cannibalize my own market and then be in the bag for like paying all these fucking people.
It is interesting though you bring up the demographic because that is something that's fun about bouncing around through different venues and different rooms, like even Lawrence Tavern, depending on who's producing the show, you get a different demographic, right? So like,
Interesting.
or like, it's just very, so Mike McLaughlin also hosts a bingo over at Beer Gardens. We promote our shows there, and I am one of the, I'd say on the young, like almost not anymore, but on the younger side of the comics these days, right? All right, especially when I started, I was, like 21 in the area, so I was one of the younger guys on the scene. But so I market to all my friends, and I have some friends that help me push out to their friends like that. And like my little brother went to Albany, so I can kind of use him to push it out to a lot of that crowd. And he graduated like 2 years ago, right? So, so our shows tend to have a much younger demographic, kind of college, just out of college age kids, whereas like some of the other shows tend to be like a lot of 30s and late 20s. And then depending on the venue, like you go to Van Dyke over in Schenectady when they do shows, and depending on like I went to a show produced there by Alana and D, and that was like a full spread, all ages. But then when you go for the competition, it generally tends to be on the older side, that kind of 30, 40, 50 years old.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting having to be like, all right, how do I play in this room? What does well, what doesn't?
Yeah, that's a fun thing to think about too, because like, like there's just like references you can make versus the audience, like, certain lines that I'll use. Like sometimes I'll just reference, like, I do the Patrick Warburton voice, right? And I'll lean more on Kronk as far as the voice goes, just because like they're gonna identify with that more if they're younger, versus like if it's older, I will lean more on Putty from Seinfeld, and Family Guy is kind of universal, I think, at this point. Might be aging out, but people still identify like, oh, that's the guy from fucking Seinfeld, yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So I mean, Putty's too funny a character.
Yeah, I know. Go great. Devils. Yeah, it's sick. Yeah, man. What do you have any other bits that you're working on? Anything crazy that you're feeling out? We mentioned 2 in the beginning of the thing.
Well, because I mentioned it, I'll keep going about my my name there. There's something I haven't quite cracked it yet, but so my name is Duncan. I'm named after the Highlander TV show.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what that is? It's okay if not.
I know of the Highlander TV show.
Yes.
I've never watched it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Duncan is the
not many
sidekick,
people did,
right?
No, he's the main character.
Is he? Okay, never mind. I'm mixing it up.
So there's movies. There were these movies that came out in the 80s. They're about Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. He's an immortal, born in like the 1300s in Scotland.
Okay.
And there's other immortals on Earth, and they're locked in eternal battle. And because there can only be one. That's where that phrase comes from.
Okay.
There can only be one. That comes from a Highlander. And so the only way you can kill an immortal is by cutting their head off with your sword. They all have swords. You cutting their head off with a sword, and then you gain their power. That's never really explained what power means, but you gain their power.
Also, doesn't make them immortal, doesn't it? If you can cut their head off.
But you have to be killed by another immortal. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a pretty big plot hole. They only made 5 movies. Yeah. Now, then they made a show about Connor MacLeod's little brother, Duncan MacLeod. And the premise of the show is basically Duncan lives in like a weird warehouse apartment in the 90s with a really hot girlfriend. And he just doesn't want to fight. He just wants to be in that apartment with her. And then his brother shows up and he's like, you got to fight. And so then he fights, right? Show ran for like 4 years, then it was canceled, and then like several years later I was born, they named me Duncan. And then Dunkin' Donuts goes huge. That's the only like context anyone has for the name Duncan in pop culture. And then in like a year, there's going to be a show that comes out next year called Duncan Egg on HBO.
Okay.
It's a Game of Thrones show about a character who's Sir Duncan. Right?
Sir Duncan just sounds funny, by the way.
It does.
Yeah.
And there's more to it. Back to me. Have you heard me do the jokes about my dwarfism? I'm a dwarf, if you don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have pituitary, so I took growth hormone shots every night for 4 years growing up to grow.
Is that intramuscular, intravenous, or it's subcutaneous? Do you know? Skin, muscle?
I got like a pen, and I would screw a little needle on it, and then I would dial it up and go in. It was a small needle.
Yeah, subcutaneous. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, anyway, so I just knew how to inject it. I knew how to avoid track marks, and that was weird at 12. Anyway, So I short my whole life, took all these shots to get tall. Now there's finally a Duncan coming out into pop culture that's going to be really cool. And his full name, I swear to God, is Sir Duncan the Tall.
Okay.
So there's something there, but obviously
Yeah.
it's a really long walk for a light payoff.
I love, you got to riff on the fact that it's like you're named after a spin-off show, right? A character.
And I'm the second kid, so technically I'm a spin-off kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're named after a spin-off show. You're the second kid. You're the spin-off kid. And there was something else I was going to say to that too. Who named you? Like, which parent?
Oh, my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my dad's ideas were even worse.
Yeah. That's something to talk about too. What could have been?
Yeah. Well, first he wanted to name me Grover.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other idea, I swear to God, was Cleveland. Which so his two names are Grover Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I remind you, we lived in Cleveland at the time.
So in his mind, he's like, homage, you know?
Yeah. My mom was like, I'm not naming my child Grover
Or Cleveland.
or Cleveland.
What, are your parents like stoners? Like what's...
No.
No? They're just
No.
regular
Very straight laced.
mom and pop kind of...
Midwestern, Chris and Barb.
Dude, that's the shocking thing to me. Yeah. So...
Yeah, my mom's a nurse. My dad works in healthcare informatics, which is something no one understands. He's a consultant.
Okay.
Wears a suit, travels.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's so wild to me. They come up with these names.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, and my older brother is named after my uncle. My little brother named after my dad. Very.
So for you, they're just like,
Yep.
let's fuck around.
Yeah.
That's so wild.
Just like that guy with the sword. Pretty sick, dude. Pretty sick.
So that's so weird to me.
I mean, my dad can't picture anything in his head. So.
He couldn't picture the character from the show.
Oh, yeah.
Do you are they huge nerds? Is that like, was Star Wars like a big thing in your house?
I mean, it is in as much as like me and my older brother are a really big Star Wars fan.
Okay, but your parents were.
I mean, my mom kind of.
in the Highlands.
So my mom was also originally from Cleveland, but like me, when she was 6, she moved to California. So she grew up about 45 minutes from Disneyland. So she's a big Disney kid.
Okay.
I wouldn't say Disney adult just because we've only been to Disneyland a couple of times.
Yeah.
We have been a few times because I have family that live out there, so you don't have to stay in a hotel if you've got a floor to sleep on.
Dude, hell yeah. That's the way to go.
But I should say my Aunt Betsy always gave us like couches or beds to sleep on. Anyway, so she's been big movie fans growing up. So yeah, I don't know. So it's not that they were necessarily nerds, but they were huge. Like we watched all sorts of movies when I was young. It was like when I was really young, it was like Abbott and Costello. You watch all the Abbott and Costello movies, and then it was like, all right, you guys are a little older, so we're gonna do like all the 1950s Agatha Christie whodunit. So like, and then they were None, The Most Dangerous Game, although I think it's actually 1947. But like all of those movies. And then it was like, all right, you guys are 7. Here's just all of Bill Murray for some reason.
Awesome.
And then like also we're going to give you National Lampoon's entire catalog.
Yep. I had National Lampoon as a kid.
I want to say around 8 or 9, my dad got SNL, the first season on DVD for his birthday.
Amazing.
That's the first SNL I ever watched.
Okay.
It was season 1, episode 1. Chevy Chase doing the fall, George Carlin hosting.
So, that's amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, but you started comedy at 14. So was that like your like early influence, or was there like a stand up that specifically like you were watching a lot and like, because this will also tell the age gap between us. Because like I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and like I grew up with like the Comedy Central presents like half hours. But at the time, like Daniel Tosh was new,
I remember Tosh.0 pop. Like I remember when Tosh.0 started.
Yeah, so Tosh.0
huge
was something that came way after he started comedy.
Yeah.
So it was like, but when he was just doing that half hour, he was like, still a young comic and like all that kind of stuff.
I remember all those for me it was like, I remember watching SNL the whole first season, and like loving that. And so then it became like we'd record SNL and we'd watch it on Sundays, which my parents still do every week.
That's awesome.
And from there, what was it? I started doing, George Carlin, his opening set, his monologue is basically a 10-minute bit on the differences between football and baseball.
Okay.
In football, there's a time limit. you know, it's a strict 4 quarters, and if there's not, you know, done in regulation, there's a strict overtime regulated period. In baseball, we don't know when it's going to end. We might even have extra innings, right? Yeah. So I started doing all these jokes to my friends because I could just imitate the influx of his voice. And I liked getting the laughs. So then I'm like, I need to find more of this. So I went to YouTube. And so I found things like I was finding like stand-up on YouTube. I found late night, started watching Conan.
Okay.
So he was big. And then I found on Amazon Prime, you could watch all the old Comedy Central presents. You could get the old HBO half hours. And so I just started ripping through those. And anytime a comedian said a joke I liked, I'd write it down. I'd go to school and tell my friends.
That's funny.
And then at a certain point, I was like, damn, I should start writing my own jokes because I'd started feeling bad about getting other comedians' laughs.
Yeah. So were you also impersonating like 50 different comics at that time? Because you're like, yeah, that's awesome.
To a point, you know, like I would get their affectation, but I wouldn't necessarily get their voice.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like an amazing skill to like kind of subtly learn.
It definitely like taught me timing.
Yeah.
Like delivery and like how to perform.
Yeah. Cause there's different forms of like, you know, Tosh is like very much like a crisp, like, you know, and he's also just like,
I had a number of his jokes I would do for friends.
Yeah, he's just like shitting on stuff essentially. And then you have somebody like Dane Cook that just like will turn physical and then loud when he goes to deliver something. And then Carlin is just like, you know, almost like a teacher. Yeah. You know, it's a very
Dane Cook was the first special I ever watched.
Really?
Yeah, my older brother had it on in the basement. He's like, you got to come watch this.
Was this the In the Round one?
Yeah,
where he's like doing
Vicious Circle.
Pickles and the pickles.
He tells a story about telling his friend or a guy that meets, oh, dude, you got to come tonight, telling a guy he's going to go to his party and then blowing off the party and then running into that guy a week later.
Yeah.
And coming up with the excuses. And then and in that whole thing, there's like a story about when you get directions from people, which is like a dated reference now, but it's like, you know, if you hit the train tracks, you've gone too far.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember the whole time I'm watching it, because I didn't understand what stand-up was. I didn't understand that George Carlin was a stand-up, because I knew him from Bill and Ted. So I was like, oh, that's the guy from Rufus is being funny right now. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And so I kept asking my older brother, I go, what's he from? And my older brother's like, he's not from anything. This is this. Because I thought it was like an appearance on a late night show or something.
Yeah.
I was like, he's got to be from something to do this. You don't just do this.
Yeah.
And then we watched, like, I think it was Kevin Hart, Laugh at My Pain. Oh, he said she had no nipple.
Yeah.
That. Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh, this is jokes. It's like you can be funny. And then like Tosh pointed out, let's throw 20 seconds on the clock and see how many jokes we can come up with. That was like, oh, you can just do jokes. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that was like a big watershed moment.
That's like amazing because I feel like even just for like the listeners, like if people are listening to this, they probably have an idea of what stand-up is, but it's like we don't really talk about that often, and it's kind of come up like 2 or 3 times in the conversation we've had. The people that just don't know what they're supposed to see. You know,
well, it's also interesting when you hear stories about like stand-up around the world, because stand-up is a uniquely American art form. We developed it just like snowboarding, just because I want to mention that because I love snowboarding. But like snowboarding is also uniquely American. But you know, stand-up's American, as is like baseball. So I'm going to use that as my parallel. Seeing how it's done differently in other countries and how they're learning to adapt to it. So the baseball analogy is the way they teach you to throw in Japan is completely different from the way they teach you to throw in America. In America, you get the Birdman, and it's all kind of mechanical like that, where it's just like one big fluid motion trying to get the coordination down.
Yeah.
In Japan, they break it down bit by bit on the mechanical motion. So you learn totally differently. I don't know specifically how, but translate that to comedy, which is new in areas like Eastern Europe. There's an like burgeoning scene there that's brand new.
Yeah.
And like in Russia. And so they're still learning how to react to it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting watching them like go through like phases. So you look at like England, I always say is about 10 years behind us, right? So they're still like 2015 comedy.
Yeah. Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you go and watch like any of like the British panel shows in like 2005, 2010, it's going to feel very 90s.
Yeah.
In their comedic style and delivery and the way they write.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you look at like the kind of the stand-up coming up out of Africa right now, feels very like they're still hitting early premises. So it feels very like 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Because they're still just doing these premises for the first time because no one's heard them.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of jokes per minute. But like,
and it's interesting hearing that they're still hitting those same premises. Mm-hmm. The same relationships between men and women, relationships between your father and son, mother and dad, like all those same jokes that you're like, oh, dude, that's Seinfeld did that on Carson in '82. Like you can find someone just learning that premise. Not because they're stealing it, because like they just happen upon it because they're new to comedy.
Universal human experience. Yeah. It'll never happen, but I had a guest from Russia lined up to Zoom for this.
Oh,
and
that would have been sick.
Would have been sick. She started an open mic over there, and we had discussed like what this show was, what I was looking for, and all that kind of stuff. And then she's like, yeah, I'm in Russia, so like there's some stuff I can't talk about. And I'm like, okay, cool, send me a list. It was a very long list. And then like you can't even imply that homosexuality exists.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to talk to her about how she started an open mic in Moscow, which is...
How do you avoid homoerotic implication?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's the English language is just very homoerotic, but I feel like it's everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because there's like, because I do the clean comedy thing too, but there's also like, it's big in the South, it's big in the Midwest, but like, you just don't touch topics like sex at all. So it really is like, you kind of have to take away all of that. And then like, for clean, you have to take away some drugs. I think she said she could talk about drugs, but there was like a list of drugs that could not be referenced. Right. So it's just like interesting. It's almost like trying to break it down to like strictly squeaky clean comedy, but you can't even talk about politics at all, which is, can't imply anything, and she said like, they will listen to it and they will throw me in jail if I fuck up. And I'm like, holy shit, like we're not doing this. Yeah. It would be so stupid to get in prison for a podcast.
Especially to be like, I'm just in my little coffee shop here, but I'm staying in New York.
Yeah, what's funny is I would have done the Zoom from home. So it would have been like...
You just close the loud and be like, oops.
Ooh, shit.
Ooh, Stranger Things 5. Oh.
Yeah. We're like, man.
Let's see how 11's doing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time a white dude has gotten, people in trouble while wearing boxers.
Oh, yeah. From the sanctity of his own home.
Yeah, from the sanctity of his own home. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, it was an interesting thing. But it is back to what we were talking about, like that universal human experience of just like these like relatable things. And I think, something I forgot on some shows, but, I've been really trying to connect with is that like, for me, the emotion sells the act, right? So it's like, like maybe people aren't relating to the fact that my childhood therapist is also my childhood lunch lady, right? But it's a bit
it's objectively funny.
It's objectively funny, but maybe they can't relate to it, but they can relate to how upset I am about it or like how I feel about it, right? So the trick is to project that feeling. Yeah.
It's funny to still be upset about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just like, I got fucked over, dude. Yeah. like I needed somebody that was a psychologist, not an expert on sloppy joes, but yeah, it was, yeah, she, shout out Barb. Yeah, no, it's funny because like there's I manage a bar, right? And it's very much the local drink up for the teachers after school. And there's people that don't even teach at the school I went to that go there, and they do this program, right? It was called Banana Splits. So they'll show up, and then they know, like everybody at the bar knows I'm trying to do stand up, right? And they know this bit that I have is about banana splits. So I actually have somebody that comes to the bar that is a banana splits person, and she's like, she heard about the bit, and then I explained to her that my lunch lady was the person at the time because this was like the early 90s. And she's like, that didn't happen, that's not true. And I'm like, I can fucking promise you, I am getting food put onto my fucking little tray, and then after lunch I'm going to the windowless room in the center of the school next to the computer lab, and the lunch lady is there asking me about my feelings. like that happened.
And you're like, I feel like lunch sucked today. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. I feel like I'm fucking still hungry, actually.
I feel like I need to go South Tower bathroom.
I feel like I should have parlayed that into more food, actually. Like, I'm just really sad. Tomorrow it'd be great if I got 2 chocolate milks. Like, like that'd be cool. Yeah.
It is crazy when you have something that's so absurdly true and you're like, no, I swear it's real.
Yeah,
like when I talk about my principal on stage, I think you might have heard that, but we were talking about him as like being just like PC principal from South Park. People don't believe me that's what he's like until I Google him and show you a picture. And then you're like, oh shit.
So is he like the image of him, or is he like actually he's also like super PC?
Kind of both.
Okay.
I mean, he is a former bodybuilder, was a former bodybuilder. Rest in peace, Mr. Star Trek.
Hell yeah. Oh, he passed away?
He did. He had a heart attack about a year ago. It was very tragic.
Bodybuilding and heart attacks not related.
Well, he's a former bodybuilder, so he's huge, right?
Yeah.
And then, he instituted gender-neutral bathrooms when I was, I don't know, sophomore, just like 12, 15 years ago, right? So like...
Very progressive.
Yeah, very progressive. His reasoning was because they have them at my gym.
Okay.
Which is like, all right, good move. Maybe give us a different reason. You know what I mean? Maybe be like, I just felt it was right. Don't be like, well, I was lifting weights and I had to take a poop and that one was clean. So I was like, we should have this here, you know? But like, let me find the right picture. Like literally that's like the first picture that comes up when you look him up.
Amazing. He also looks like Charlie Sheen's dad. No?
Martin Sheen?
Am I mixing that up? I'm mixing him up with somebody else, the actor.
No, T2. Terminator 2. That's who you're thinking
100%.
of. Yes.
And
he does kind of like him. He shaved his head for charity one year.
Can you want to try and see if you can get it on the camera?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to.
And look. I do jokes about this man. He did. I need to give him his flowers. He did stop a school shooting and save everybody.
Holy shit.
I need to give him. Yeah, I mean, he looks like that. That's.
Yeah, he T2'd it.
Yeah, he was vice principal at the time, but yeah, the student entered the building, had a gun, and fired it at like down the hall, so he heard. It hit no one. At this point, people have run away. And then he rounds the corner, tackles the kid, wrestled the gun away from him, and it went off, and a teacher was hit, but was fine.
Okay, thank God.
Or recovered, I should say, from a shot in the leg. But yeah. And then he became the principal.
So you were in school for a school shooting?
No, this is 2004. This predates me. Let's be very clear. I was not.
Predates you?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's like still though.
You hear the stories at school.
100%.
Every teacher had a story. Every teacher had a story.
Every fucking parent is like thinking like, oh, this happened literally down the road, or like literally a couple years before my kid got there. It makes it so fucking real. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, yeah. That's crazy. But thank God that guy was there.
Yeah, thank God he was there. And then he would come in. I was in student council. He'd come in every year during when we were planning a freshman orientation, and we would get shirts every year for all the student council members. So you knew who like the student helpers were, right? Every year he wouldn't show up for the entire meeting until we got to t-shirts. Then he'd walk in and go, so I'm thinking cutoffs this year. And we'd be like, we're gonna be inside all day.
Yeah.
And everyone in student council looked more like me than him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what?
Amazing.
No.
He's just like,
all right, but V-necks though? And we were like, all right, we'll give you the V.
Yeah. That's awesome. It would be it'd be funny if the school shooter's name was just John Connor. He's like, oh, I didn't know there was actually a school shooter at all.
You know what's crazy about that guy?
Tackled him because of his name.
Do you know what's crazy about that guy? This is true. So he was in prison for like, he got sentenced. I think he got sentenced to life in prison for they charged him for like every human being on the floor that he walked into. So it was like 65, 70 people that were just on the floor at the time.
Wow.
They charged him with. And then he goes to prison, rehabilitates, and like, so every time there's a school shooting in the news, he'll write a letter to the newspaper and they'll publish about like, here's how I was troubled, here's how I got a gun, here's why I did it, and like, you should stop. He's very against school shootings now. He got paroled, I believe.
Okay.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe a little more than that, maybe 4 years ago while I was in college. And then someone saw him walking down the street in Albany and was like, yo, that's the guy that tried to shoot up the school, and happened to have a machete with him. And
the guy who shot up the school?
The guy that recognized the guy as the shooter.
Okay.
Happened to, and cut off both his legs and one of his arms.
Holy fuck.
Here's the crazier twist.
There's the crazier twist.
There's a hospital in Albany. They got him there quickly, reattached all the limbs.
Wow. So he's good to go.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
They like
I don't know if there's a bit there.
They put the leg on the wrong leg. So he's got a foot that goes out. Like out.
You're duck-footed now.
Yeah. Listen, you got out on parole early.
Yes.
You're a duck-foot guy now. People will forget about the school shooting thing. You're a duck-foot guy.
Listen, bud, you're never going to run, all right?
Yeah.
Or really, if you can figure it out, you shouldn't in front of people.
Yeah.
It's not going to look good for you.
Yeah, that's quackers. That's insane. Like, if you're carrying around a machete, though, I mean, that's arguably no, I'm not even going to touch that.
Well, I would say if you're carrying around a machete and you like work in the woods or work in, like, if it's appropriate, for sure.
Yeah.
If you're walking around metropolitan Albany,
I'm going to assume that guy hunted down the school shooter, though.
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. That's what.
The article I read just said the guy saw him and like attacked him with a machete. I'm like,
Yeah.
No, whenever there's news about a machete attack, no one ever tells you about where they got the machete.
Yeah, no, they should do.
It's just kind of like there were these two people and one of them had a machete.
Yeah, as one does.
Yeah.
Like a pen. you know.
Honestly, I don't know what machetes are used for besides attacking.
Yeah.
Why do we sell them?
Why do we? They should only be available at like the entrance to a forest.
Like a 16-year-old could go to Lowe's right now and buy a machete.
Yeah.
Be like, I just need to machete something right now.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
What are you gonna like cut video or cut melons on fucking Instagram? Like that's I feel like that's the only other
It's
thing.
for cooking.
Yeah, it's for cooking because a normal knife won't do.
It's you buy the biggest machete they have. You go, I'm trying to get into hibachi. And they say it's a good starter knife.
So I won't miss. That's for sure.
Yeah. They say the little ones are hard to handle, so I'll start with the big. Work your way up to the nimble stuff.
Yeah, I need something with a sheath. That way I feel good about it. Did just for my personal curiosity, did the school shooter ever reconcile with the principal? Do you ever hear about that?
I don't believe so. No.
They never did.
No.
He's like, so it really was like I would have gotten away with it too.
I mean, I'd have to look it up to be sure, but I don't think so.
Damn.
He was principal for, let's see, 2004. He was probably made principal in like 05, 06. I graduated in 2017, and then he left the school in like 2018.
Okay.
His wife got a job in North Carolina paying apparently a lot of money, and in like 2 weeks he was like, all right,
Yep.
see ya.
Yeah, he's just like,
Yeah.
he's
like-
working at a gym. He's like, what do you guys think? Cutoffs? And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah. He goes, I found my place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, so he moved down there and then had a heart attack like a year ago.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Man. Hero. That's the message we're taking away.
Wouldn't let us park at school in the last 3 days
Why?
because they're like way a long time ago. There used to be a big senior water balloon fight in the parking lot, sanctioned by the school. And then a couple things happened. There was allegedly like $1,200 worth of water damage done to someone's car. They were doing things like filling truck beds with water and like super soakers and stuff. There were rumors, unconfirmed, I've confirmed them, of like peeing in water balloons, rock salt in water balloons.
Oh, that's lame.
The word is Sawchuck got hit by one of these pee balloons and axed it. And then he said no parking at the high school for the last 3 days of high school. And so most of us would try to park down the road at the library or the YMCA, and he would call the library, and the library would go out there, take plate numbers, and either fine kids or have the cars towed. My older brother worked at the Y. The director of the Y at the time, I don't know if I should say this. I'm going to say it. I don't care. I don't think Shannon works there anymore, so it's fine. The director of the
Probably won't ever hear
YMCA
this.
of that Y,
Yeah.
her husband was an economics teacher at the high school. And so any of the students that worked at the Y, she'd be like, yeah, you guys can just park at the Y and walk over. So we would do that, and all you had to do was just pull your parking sticker out of your window. And they wouldn't walk over to the Y because the Y didn't want to give up plate numbers and have people in their parking lots. So when the school would call them and be like, can you guys see if your other students are parking at? They'd be like, no.
So there's a lot of stuff going on there. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
High school was interesting for sure.
it proves, though, that where there's a will, there's a way. Because high
Yes.
school students will figure out a way to do what they were going to do anyways. But now you're just making it slightly more challenging, which does critical thinking. You guys figured it out.
Oh, yeah. Problem solving.
Yeah. It's a good lesson.
These days you just Uber. Like, it's over.
Yeah. I would have done a drive-by squirt because you're not like parking per se. You're just driving through the lot, and like all the cars just keep moving,
Oh.
and then it just turns into like a auto collision paradise.
Okay.
And then he's just like, no students can have cars, and then it becomes how do you figure out your way around that?
So you're saying, wait, the drive-by at the high school?
Because you can't park at the high school.
Yeah.
Right? That's the rule. You can't
Oh,
park.
so you're saying you just flood the drop-off lot
Yeah.
as never ending?
Never ending. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good. Well, because there were still buses coming.
Yeah. So you
yeah,
get the buses
that could
too.
be
Because now
fun.
you can catch up to them.
Well, but he left, and then the next principal came in and was like, "Yeah, you guys can park. I don't care. Like, it's
Yeah.
school. Come and park at the school."
Oh, okay. So he's the guy that realized that just like,
Yeah.
you're going to figure it out anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's inevitable.
Yeah. I think he was just like, I don't know why you wouldn't be allowed to. Of course you guys can park at the last 3 days of school. It's still school.
Yeah. That guy was also scrawny and not jacked at all. I'm pointing at my
Yeah, I realized.
Yeah, not jacked at all, which he never had cut off shirts.
I think he was taller though. I think he was like 6'9". They kept hiring real tall guys at my school.
Hell yeah. I feel like a principal is supposed to be very tall and stern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stern to a point, I feel.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really good principals in that school district, and they're not as stern.
Yeah.
They're just nice guys.
Okay.
You know,
I don't know how I feel about that.
steady hand. But they're like all like
Sure.
like the one that I'm thinking of is like a wrestling coach type guy. Used to be a wrestling coach. I don't think he coaches anymore, but like that's the kind of attitude. But like he's really like he walks around like the best coach. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like. Your principal's like your general manager. You know. Mm-hmm. So you gotta go get. You need a Buck Showalter type.
Yeah. I just like they gotta be tall though. I'm not gonna move away from this. They gotta be tall. The kids gotta walk into school and then just do the whole like.
So you're saying if you're short, you're not smart? Is that what you're saying?
No. Nothing about intelligence. I'm just saying like from perception of child to.
But is it like maybe this is I genuinely did just think this and saying it out loud. Well, we're gonna hear how it sounds. Isn't the principal supposed to be like the smartest? You know what I mean? Like if the teachers are smart, that's why they're teachers. The principal's like, well, that's the smartest teacher, dude. Like that's I guess something that I've always internalized.
Yeah. No. That's not how that works
Yeah.
at all. The principal is supposed to just be like, like the fucking the organizer. Just like, hey.
Yeah, I get that, but does it also kind of make sense though? It feels right that you're like the smartest teacher.
Yeah. They're just rocket scientists.
Yeah.
They're all fucking principals.
Like, oh, if you're a principal, it's like two teachers in one, you know?
They could teach any class. That's actually, all-time sub,
Yeah.
We're actually eliminating positions at the school. You're just all-time subs. Yeah. It's just the principal. Hell yeah. Sick. We're going to wrap it up here, buddy. Is there anything you want to promote? Anything you want to plug? Do we have anything new coming out soon?
I am looking to launch a new podcast.
Okay.
I've got most of it ready to go. I just got to start recording. I'm going to record episodes. I'm looking at like a late January release, hopefully. The idea, it's going to be called Best Job, Worst Job. I talk a lot about work in my stand-up because I worked a crap load of weird jobs.
Okay, same.
And so I don't want to come on, have a bunch of comedians on and talk about comedy. I want to have comedians on and we'll talk about the jobs they work while you're trying to make it.
Okay,
I feel like
cool.
It's very fruitful. So
I dig that. Yeah.
Looking for that. Just talking about work. I mean, jobs are a big deal right now. So,
are you going to do it in video, just audio?
We're definitely going to start audio. I'd like to move to video because I can flip my basement into a studio, I think. So I want to try to make a nice setup there, but
hell yeah,
want to get it out as fast as possible. So
I dig it. I'm a big fan of just doing it and then tinkering as you go.
Oh yeah, it'll be a growing thing.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I've also just recently become just because I mentioned to my parents that I'm going to start. My dad was like, "Oh, I want to start a podcast too. Can you help me with that?" So
so you're going to collab on equipment?
I guess my dad wants to do a podcast for the church, and like it. Honestly, when he said that, I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, that'd be great." He used to stream the masses during COVID. He would be the guy that went up and set up the camera. And then he pitched me an idea about like, I just want to do like 25 to 30-minute conversations, parishioners talking about their stories and faith. And I'm like, I'll be damned if that's not like a good idea for you.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You got to get him to explain more about the name. Yeah.
I don't know if he can though. He can't picture it, you know?
That's true. he's like, I can't fucking do this.
How does he picture his faith? I don't know. Like growing up in church, I always, they tell us stories. You picture it.
Yeah, that is true.
So what's he hearing? Just words?
What does he think the ark looks like?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Does he just picture? He doesn't picture an ark. Does he?
He pictures the word ark.
Does he rest in the knowledge of knowing what an ark is in concept? Like, is that what it is? Are you just resting in? Are you that in the moment?
Yeah. When I picture the Ark, this is a tangent. When I picture the Ark, I picture standing in the middle of the boat inside the Ark with all the pens lined up, and it's smelling horribly. Like, I don't even see any animals, like, because I could just see the rows of pens on each side, and I just picture it smelling like fucking manure.
Horrible. I've been on enough farms that, like, I don't know, unless it's really, really bad, farm just smells like a farm. A little manure is not bad. Of course,
yeah.
But I will say, when I picture the Ark, and this is 100% true, it's the one from Bruce Almighty.
Okay.
With Steve Carell.
Yeah.
That's the Ark I picture in my head.
Okay. I'm picturing mine's in cartoon, and I don't know why. But I was just like, this is like it's a drawing of an Ark. Maybe I saw a book or something when I was a kid.
The apple. When I picture an apple, it's a cartoon apple. It's like a cartoon red apple.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. So you do have a cartoon.
Yeah. Sometimes cartoon. But like I said, I'm seeing the Ark from Bruce Almighty. That's a live action movie, baby.
Maybe it's because, like, in elementary school, it's like A for apple. And there was always that
That's the apple I see. That's the one I'm picturing on the A on the wall. Yeah. That's the apple I see.
Well, we're solving these mysteries, my friend. Sick.
No, the real hard truths.
Okay, we're going to get out of here. What do you picture? Comment below. Likable is filmed and recorded with the Radio Free Rhinecliff. Thank you to Jen Hammoud and Matthew Rosenberg, our producers. And thank you to the Epicurean, which hosts us for each and every episode. Come in, stop, and shop, and maybe you'll catch us on the air. Likable is a comedy-based podcast. We're experts in absolutely nothing, especially what you picture when you hear things. And we should not be taken seriously. Consider this your daily dose of questionable wisdom and guaranteed hilarity. We hope. Proceed with caution and a healthy dose of skepticism. Duncan Harris, thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me, man. This was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it.
Music. Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you are listening with just audio, or if you are checking us out on YouTube, please, either way, we do have I have my own personal YouTube, which is at David Stickle Comedy. If you can check out there for like comedy clips and, actually this podcast, or if you want to just follow the podcast's Instagram, at Likable Pod on Instagram, at David Stickle Comedy on Instagram if you want to follow me as well. Every bit goes a long way. Thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. Also, follow Radio Free Rhinecliff as well if you aren't already on Instagram. Thank you.
Yeah, you got jokes and you're insightful.